Well, thank you for your time. How juicy.
Juicy. Juicy.
Good morning, my baby.
I am fine, fine, fine.
How did you sleep, baby?
So fine, fine, fine.
Why so fine, fine, fine?
Soft hair, fine, fine, fine.
I'm happy you're dry. Soft hair, very soft. Soft Care Baby Diaper uses high technology, pro-level leak protection. Is designed for your baby. Asante Soft Care. Syria Mama. Soft Care?
Very soft.
Hello 22bet.
Oya, niaje?
Poa sana.
Unasikia naenda kuingia kwa account yangu napata kuna maziwa rada?
Oh, hiyo ni Euro 2020 cashback. Tunapeana 8% kwa kila game ya Euro.
Hadi kwa kila game?
Hata zenye zimekunywa maji.
Sasa nyinyi ndio mabazeng. Itabidi hadi nimechapia mbogi. Cheki Mamorio. Unasikia kuna 8% cashback ya nini ya Euro ya 22bet.
Get 100% bonus on your first deposit now. SMS join to 29252. 22bet. Tucheze, tushinde. 22.
The president is not a mere mortal but a superior. The president cannot make a direct appeal to the people and join them in petitioning parliament. Those are some of the sentiments that emerged in today's BBI appeal hearing at the Court of Appeal. We have these and other news right here on Maisha Prime, but first, here are our top stories.
My argument is that a promoter from nowhere does not become the initiator of a popular initiative merely because they have brought 1 million signatures.
The committee is not funded throughout the financial year to execute its responsibilities, but at the end of the financial year, the money is not there. The money that was allocated for it and is passed.
Welcome. The anti-BBI team now says President Uhuru Kenyatta cannot initiate a popular initiative while still in power. Lawyer Elias Mtuma for Third Way Alliance said that Uhuru should have relinquished power before initiating the process. Mtuma has dismissed the submissions by lawyer Otiende Amolo that Sonar East Member of Parliament Junet Mohammed and BBI Secretariat Co-Chairman Dennis Waweru are the promoters of BBI. Bushebi Jr. gives us a full report of what transpired today at the Court of Appeal.
It is that a promoter from nowhere does not become the initiator of a popular initiative merely because they have brought 1 million signatures.
A 7-judge bench constituted by the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Daniel Musinga, was the center of attention following the submission by the respondents to the case filed by BBI proponents challenging the nullification of BBI by the High Court in May.
The court insists on finding that His Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was the promoter of this initiative.
Or did they instead say he could be held personally liable for performing functions that are outside what the Constitution gives them?
Lawyer Elias Mutuma, in his submission and mission to deconstruct and confiscate the BBI appellant's arguments, vigorously debated his opponent's argument account that Junet Mohammed and Dennis Waweru were the promoters of the BBI.
Who then initiated this process? Because we have seen the executive cannot initiate because they have not been given legislative authority. That has not been donated to them. Parliament has also not been given authority to legislate under 257. Theirs has been reserved under 256. Then, where did we get this impugned constitutional amendment from?
He said that the promoters are explicitly identified in the printed BBI document itself.
My lords and my ladies, the impugned amendment process must be viewed as a direct product of the handshake that we all know about. Those facts are not in dispute. At the steps of Harambee House, between His Excellency the President in his official capacity and Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, we submit that though the handshake was packaged as an initiative to promote national unity, cohesion, fostering cohesion and bringing about unity, it was a Trojan horse.
The lawyer insisted that the promoters were the BBI initiators, with a team appointed by the president himself, further submitting that due to president's involvement in the BBI document, the document was printed by the government printer.
First respondent is the steering committee on the implementation of the Building Bridges to a United Kenya Task Force established by the President of the Republic of Kenya by way of a Gazette notice dated 10th of January 2020. The second respondent in our petition was the BBI National Secretariat, which we defined as follows: as an administrative department of the first respondent. The said secretariat, in our own description, is co-chaired by the following individuals. One, Honorable Junet Mohammed, who is a member of National Assembly under the ODM ticket, and Honorable Dennis Waweru.
He also argued that the promoters of the BBI initiative signed the bill and none of them was Dennis Waweru or Junet Mohammed.
Was it Dennis Waweru that initiated this process? In our petition that we filed in the High Court, we made a description of the parties that we sued. Because the first party that we sued was the Building Bridges Steering Committee that had been established by way of a Gazette notice dated 10th of January 2020.
Another intriguing and compelling argument was the distinction between the president and the person serving as president that sought to answer the question of when the president is acting as President Uhuru Kenyatta and when he is acting as Uhuru Kenyatta. The lawyer argued that in 2014, while going to The Hague, President Uhuru Kenyatta stepped down as president and handed over power to the Deputy President William Ruto.
To appoint Honorable William Ruto, the Deputy President, as acting president while I attend the status conference at The Hague in the Netherlands.
But on BBI, he acted as president throughout, including gazetting the BBI task force, a matter supported by LSK President Nelson Harvey.
The president shall respect, uphold and safeguard this constitution. There is no obligation at kind on Wanjiku, Atieno, Nasmiu, Hadija, or Wende. It goes at B, safeguard the sovereignty of the Republic. There is no obligation on me to safeguard the sovereignty of the Republic. Now, that is the office of the president. And we have seen what the sovereignty of the Republic is. It is the constituent power. The president, like King David before him, cannot start taking the flock. The president, like King Edward VIII, must remain the president. If he wants to engage in the affairs of other lesser mortals, then he must abdicate. There are no two options to this.
The appeal case against the High Court ruling hearing was today allocated to the respondents. LSK President lawyer Nelson Harvey made remarks on the BBI appeal on behalf of respondents. The appeal hearing follows a petition challenging the High Court judgment in May, which declared the BBI process null and void.
Supposing, because that was presented here, supposing Parliament doesn't listen to the President. Parliament has the majorities, and people in this country, people change, right?
Yes, my Lord.
If that happens, are you saying that the President cannot make a direct appeal to the people and join them in petitioning Parliament, for example?
No, my Lord, he cannot. If the President is such a predicament, he has to do which King Edward VIII did.
He has to resign.
He must abdicate and go and marry the American divorcee. It's as simple as that.
Nelson Harvey, the President of Law Society of Kenya, in defense of High Court ruling against the BBI, said that the Parliament identified 3 areas of unconstitutional amendments in the BBI bill. However, they nonetheless passed the bill as it was and failed to comply with Article 10 and 94 of the Constitution of Kenya. Yesterday, President Uhuru Kenyatta told the 7-judge bench hearing the appeal that the High Court infringed on his individual rights when it denied him an opportunity to be heard and that his immunity was compromised.
There's a distinction there.
Yes.
So we need to, did they say he could be held personally liable for performing his functions, or did they instead say he could be held personally liable for performing functions that are outside what the Constitution gives them?
A declaration is hereby made that, that civil proceedings can be instituted against the President or a person performing the functions of the office of the President during their tenure of office in respect of anything done or not done contrary to the Constitution.
Yes, that is so, not for what is done within their powers in the under the Constitution, but outside.
That's correct, my Lord.
The case is slated to end on Friday, July 2nd, whereby the 7-judge bench of the Court of Appeal will make a final ruling of the BBI. The BBI case at the Court of Appeal opened on Monday with government securing its first win after the judges struck out part of an appeal filed by Nairobi lawyer Charles Kanjama. Court of Appeal President Justice Daniel Musinga appointed the 7-judge bench to hear and determine 5 appeals filed against the High Court ruling. A 5-judge bench of the High Court in May ruled that the President does not have authority under the Constitution to initiate changes to the Constitution and that a constitutional amendment can only be initiated by the President through the Attorney General in Parliament through a parliamentary initiative. The judges say that the Constitution Amendment Bill, popularly referred to as the Building Bridges Initiative, was irregular, illegal, and unconstitutional. Top constitutional lawyers in the country are part of the legal teams that are battling out in court to salvage the initiative spearheaded by the President and his handshake partner ODM leader Raila Odinga. For Maisha TV, Bushebi Jr.
And Migori County Assembly MCS passed the 8.8 billion shillings budget estimate for the financial year 2021-2022 despite a section of MCS dismissing the budget motion tabled in the House by the Committee of Budget, terming it as unconstitutional. County Assembly, Health and Medical Department and Roads, Transport and Public Works were the biggest winners from the budget, having received an allocation of 1.8 billion, 1.5 billion and 1.1 billion respectively.
And that is the PRC.
Members of Migori County Assembly unanimously passed the 8.8 billion budget estimate for the financial year 2021-2022 contained in the Budget and Appropriation Committee report, which was tabled in a special sitting of the Assembly. The report was tabled by the Budget and Appropriation Committee Chairman Thomas Akungo before the interim Speaker and North Kamagambo Ward MCA Mr. George Omamba. However, a section of Migori County MCAs rejected the 2021 budget report presented to the County Assembly by the chairman of the Budget Appropriation Committee, who questioned the reduction of allocation from County Executive Committee to the County Assembly.
Today, myself, I oppose these particular budget estimates that were discussed in the House, and especially the one that were been brought today by the Committee of Budget. They are very unconstitutional estimates. The reason why I'm opposing this is this, that the county fiscal strategy paper that had ceilings per each department that we approved in this particular assembly last time is totally different from the estimates that the budget committee is bringing to us for approval.
County Assembly, Health and Medical Department and Roads, Transport and Public Works are the biggest winners, having received an allocation of 1.8 billion shillings, 1.5 billion shillings and 1.1 billion respectively. Environment, Natural Resources and Disaster Management, Trade and Tourism Department and the County Attorney's Office were allocated 2.3 million shillings, 1.6 million shillings and 90.5 million shillings respectively. The overall county government development budget is 2.9 billion shillings, recurrent of 5.8 billion shillings, a total operations budget of 2.9 billion shillings, and a total of 2.8 billion shillings budget for county operations.
Even the National Assembly are not prepared by the Committee of Budget. Estimates are prepared by the Executive. And once they're brought to the House, under that particular regulation, we have only up to 1% under 137.1. Under Regulation 137.1, we have up to 1%, only that we can be able to vary or deviate from the estimates that we have been given.
However, the allocation of 90.5 million shillings to the County Attorney's Office raised a lot of concerns among the members of County Assembly.
But in Migori County Assembly, a committee is allocated money to execute its responsibility. The committee is not funded throughout the financial year to execute its responsibilities. But at the end of the financial year, the money is not there. The money that was allocated for it and dispersed to execute the responsibilities that are assigned to that particular committee is not there. So where does the money go?
Last year, Migori County raised eyebrows after allocating 4.1 million shillings for purchasing coffins in the 2020-2021 budget. Agitated residents called out the county for featuring such scary allocation in the budget at a time when the county was grappling with the escalating cases of COVID-19. Maisha TV. And talking about the county's budget, there is a proposal to have the financial year of county government staggered from that of the national government. This, according to the chairman of the National Assembly's Budget and Appropriation Committee, Kanini Kega, who said that late disbursement of funds to county governments is encouraging the misuse and waste of public funds, as county governments often overspend or refund money at the end of the financial year.
Financial year of the national government ends at the same time as the financial year of the county government. And you can imagine the amount of money that has now been pushed to the county government, and they have about 10 days to spend. In essence, it means either there will be a spending spree, or money will be returned. And there is a proposal that you're working on to stagger the two financial years. If the financial year of the county government can at least be staggered at least 2 months, in around August, the 30th of August, to be the end of the financial year for the county government, then they will have sufficient time to make sure that they utilize the funds that will be transferred to them by the end of today. Despite the fact that Treasury has pushed a lot of money, we should not see a spending spree, whereby they're even buying furniture that they don't need. You even see buying new computers that they don't need. You even see people buying vehicles that they don't need. We will be very, very diligent and make sure that public money is not misappropriated.
2 robbery suspects are being held at Kitale Police Station for allegedly stealing meat and vegetables in Kipsongo, sub-county of Trans Nzoia County. Security officials now says that this type of theft has intensified in the area. They are urging the area residents to desist from buying meat from unauthorized persons.
Mara ya kwanza bucha lilivunjwa, wakaiba ratili ya kupima, ratili 2, waliiba vitu kama ya 30,000. Na leo asubuhi bucha wakati imevunjwa, imeibiwa nyama ya karibu 25,000.
Kuna vijana wengi wametuangaisha katika eneo hii, wakiwemo pia waliokuwa na silaha.
Hii maneno ya kuiba nyama ni kwamba watu wako tuna tamaa, lakini tunaomba ya kwamba wasiende kuiba, wafanye kazi na wanunue nini? Wanunue nyama wakule.
Baadaye wakipika pararira yao hiyo na marandi kuruza zao, wanaenda kulala ama wanaenda kwa mabaa ama wanaenda kwingine. So watu wetu hawana security ya kutosha.
Tunaamka asubuhi na mapema kwenda kuchitafutia, lakini sisi tunapochitafutia kuna wale pia wanafisia mali zetu. Na si kwamba anaipa tu nyama ama mboka peke yake, hata ng'ombe.
Today, Kenya has recorded 376 new COVID-19 infections from a sample size of 3,831 tested in the last 24 hours. The Ministry of Health said the country's positivity rate is now at 9.8%, an increase from 8.8% the previous day. Total confirmed positive cases are now 184,537, and cumulative tests so far conducted at 1,963,532. CS Mutahi Kagwe said that 910 patients have recovered from the virus, 516 from the home-based and the isolation care program, while 394 are from various health facilities. The total recoveries now stands at 126,594, out of whom 91,514 are from home-based care and isolation program, while 35,080 are from various health facilities. During the same period, 6 patients have succumbed to the disease, all of them being late deaths reported after conducting facility record audits on diverse deaths in the months of April and June 2021. As of Thursday, 1,417,100 vaccines had been administered across the country. Of these, total first doses are 1,010,954,000, while second doses are 406,146. And now into international ties and relations. President Uhuru Kenyatta today met with his host in Paris, France, President Emmanuel Macron. It is the second day of President Kenyatta's official visit to the country, where his chief mission was to discuss the construction of the 233-kilometer Nairobi-Nakuru-Mau Summit Toll Road. Let's have a look.
President Uhuru Kenyatta on Thursday morning met his French host Emmanuel Macron at Élysée Palace in Paris, during which the leaders discussed several bilateral and multilateral subjects of mutual interest to Kenya and France. President Kenyatta and his French host discussed the progress of key France-supported infrastructure projects in Kenya, including the expansion of the 233-kilometer Rironi-Nakuru-Mau Summit Road, whose construction is set to kick off in September this year. The public-private partnership agreement to expand the Northern Corridor Road into a 4-lane dual carriageway and reduce congestion at a cost of 160 billion shillings was reached during the President Kenyatta's visit to Paris in October last year. Besides infrastructure, Presidents Kenyatta and Macron discussed enhanced cooperation in the health sector, particularly in building Kenya's capacity to manufacture vaccines locally. On the multilateral front, the two leaders spoke about the forthcoming Global Partnership for Education Summit in London, to be co-hosted by President Kenyatta and UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The summit is set for 28th and 29th of this month and aims at raising $5 billion in 5 years for investment in the education of 175 million children in low-income countries across the world. President Kenyatta was accompanied to Élysée Palace by Foreign Affairs CS Rachel Omamo, his infrastructure counterpart James Macharia, and Kenya's envoy to France, Professor Judy Wahungu.
Data from 5 countries show that over 50% of respondents indicate that violence against women is acceptable under certain circumstances. The COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated the situation and turn gender-based violence into a global emergency. Emerging data also indicates a surge of at least 25% in violence against women across the globe. In the past year alone, Cameroon has reported a 35% increase in cases, Central Africa a spike of 69%, South Africa a spike of 37%, and my own country, Kenya, a recent survey has shown that cases of gender-based violence had increased by more than 50% from the previous year. These are undoubtedly alarming statistics which I believe call for urgent.
For Maisha TV, Bushabi Jr.
The cost of living has soared to a 15-month high, with June inflation costs closing at 6.32% from a lower 5.8% in May. This is the highest cost of living faced by Kenyans since February 2020, when inflation stood at a high 7.17%. Let's get this and other business news from Amogashin.
Kenyans will be forced to pay more for making phone calls and taking loans, as charges and rates will go up after President Uhuru Kenyatta signs into law the new airtime and bank loan taxes. The report was tabled in Parliament by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning and was excluded in the Finance Bill 2021. The committee proposed to increase the rate of excise duty on telephone and internet data services from 15% to 20%. The rise in data costs will force telco companies to raise the cost of their services. All other services done online, such as servicing driver's licenses, land transfers, parking, and license fees, will also rise. Kenya Revenue Authority will raise over 8 billion shillings from the new Kenya revenue taxes.
Tabu ingine ni gani isipokuwa ya dadangu ambaye amesimama hapa? Nimefurahi sana na statement yake na speech yake, lakini kule ndani ananiambia atipunguza ushuru. Ala, hiyo siwezi kupunguza.
Hilo swala kwamba wanatumia ushuru pia mpaka kwa bandali ya simu, ndugu yangu, hiyo haitakusaidia sisi wananchi wa chini, maana kidogo ambacho tunapata ndio tunajaribu kuweka pale, naye pia tufuatilie Kenya yetu inaenda vipi, ndo pale watu wamekosea waweze kurekebisha.
Wengi wetu sasa hivi wana biashara tunatumia simu kuendeleza biashara zetu.
The cost of living in Kenya has risen to a 15-month higher, with June inflation closing at 6.32% from a lower 5.87% in May. This is the highest cost of living faced by Kenyans since February 2020, when inflation stood at a high of 7.17%. Data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics show that the consecutive monthly increase in inflation is attributable to greater food and fuel cost, which affected energy and transport cost.
Hiyo ushuru mutalipa wenzangu, kwa sababu hakuna njia nyingine tunaweza kujenga facilities kama hii, hakuna njia nyingine tutajenga mabarabara, hakuna njia nyingine tutajenga mashule, ama namna gani?
Foodstuffs including sukuma wiki, spinach, beef, and cooking fat registered increased cost, raising the selling price of commodities such as potatoes, onions, and tomatoes. At the same time, electricity costs went high during the month of June on account of higher fuel cost charge in relation to monthly billings to customers by Kenya Power.
Si ushuru lazima tulipe. Njia tu ni turahisishe. Turahisishe njia ya kulipa, ndio biashara isiwe inakwama. Si ni kweli?
The energy sector, Daniel Kiptoo, has been appointed as the new Director General of the Energy Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA. Kiptoo, who was served in the role on the interim capacity since mid-December, begins a 3-year-old term as the regulator's chief head today. Prior to his appointment as the acting capacity and the subsequent promotion, Kiptoo was the legal advisor at the Energy Ministry and the chairman of the state's First Oil Committee. Reporting for Maisha TV, I'm Amogashin.
Well, thank you, Amogashin, for the business news. And with that, we've come to the end of Maisha Prime. My name is Rida Chebet Kering. Enjoy the rest of your visit.